Oh, got a serious question for you today. Are you tired because you're not called? Or are you tired because you've been trying to step into something that was never yours to step into? Those land the same way in your body, but they don't come from the same place. If you've been feeling like you're drugged down, trying to step through quicksand, you're second guessing everything you're doing right now, and that you're carrying more than you should probably, then this is worth a listen today. So, hi, if you don't know me already, I'm Christy, also known as the Comeback Mentor, and I'm a heart healer and a dream shaper for women who are right where you're at in midlife transition. And inside this space, we talk real talk, but it's safe. You are valued and you're encouraged to come just as you are. Let's heal. Let's step into what God has put inside of your life as a calling, as a dream, as something that He wants to see you successfully build. And if that sounds amazing, then this is your kind of space. Hit that subscribe button because we do that real talk here. So I encourage you to hang in there with us and let's build that community. We need each other, right? So let's jump into our comeback conversation for today. So there are times that you step into what you see as your next season, your next opportunity, your next yes, but something is not setting right with you. You can't pinpoint it, but something is like, I thought that was the yes, but something just really is not right here. It's like you wouldn't have said yes if you couldn't do it. And you wouldn't have said yes if you couldn't make it work out and fit together and be prosperous, but it's actually draining you and taking more out of you. It's not something that you're excited or driven to do anymore. And that's confusing, especially when you thought you heard the yes. But it's not that, like I said, it's not that you have the inability to complete it. It's not even a capacity issue. It's misalignment. You've stepped into something so close to what is in your alignment, but you've stepped into something that doesn't really match what you naturally see. And hang in there with me and I'll explain what I'm talking about. When you don't recognize how you see, you start reaching. You start reaching for what sounds right, what sounds like it's a good fit. You start reaching for what somebody else is doing and thinking, okay, well, if I pull that in here into the gap that I'm in, then it's going to help me get on that ladder up into that next season, that thing that I said yes to. It's going to help bridge that gap for me. And you start just reaching for everything that you think is going to work, but it's not in alignment with how you see. So you carry things that don't belong to you. That's the extra weight inside of that gap. Now, that gap can be a positive space, a space of growth, a space of things being drawn to you that you're going to need for that dream and that calling that's been laid on your heart, that next step, that season, that excitement that you can finally step into something that you want to do instead of something you had to do. But I digress. So you're carrying. I have this picture of that statue with the man with the world on top of his shoulders, and that's how you feel. because everything that you've pulled into that gap space that you're in is weighing you down further and further and making it too hard to have passion and excitement for that next step, season, experience. That, yes, you start second guessing. Oh, I said yes, and now I feel too much like, okay, this is not right. So I made a bad decision when it could be that you just taking on too much weight, taking things that don't belong to you. And some of you walk into that situation and immediately see what it could become. You're already thinking ahead. You're thinking about the potential before anything is built out. You move things forward. You're a doer. You're a go-getter. You're the list checker offer. But you can't get ahead of people and not realize that they're still trying to catch up. Does that make sense? If you get ahead, that gap grows. If you're constantly looking at the end picture and what it's going to look like, and you've got it all figured out, it looks, I mean, you see it, it's beautiful, it's amazing, but your focus is there. It's not on the people you need in the gap, the people you're going to serve, the people you're going to support, the people, the networking that God's placed in or has ready for your gap, because you're too focused on that bigger picture. So your gap grows. And as your gap grows, the weight, the passion, the excitement, the picture gets dull, the light starts to go down, and you think, oh, I made a mistake again. Maybe this is not just gonna work out for me. And some of you actually walk in and you pick up on what's going on. Not what you hear people saying in a room. You pick up on what's underneath. You notice the tone, you noticed the atmospheric shifts. Like you can actually feel when you get near somebody an atmospheric shift. You sense when something is off, and that's a strength. But you can't carry what you sense instead of just seeing it. You can't carry the things that you sense in a room and use that to fill your gap. You're missing all of the parts and pieces that go with it. So you stay in the gap longer because you're carrying people's emotions, their atmospheric changes and shifts, the weight of their emotions, and you're sinking in the quicksand in the gap. So you're staying in the gap longer. So the bigger picture, the excitement, the passion dwindles. And we lose just that hope. The hope that there was something bigger and just phenomenal coming our way. So you stay in the gap longer and your dreams die. And then some of you walk in and feel people in a different way. You can tell who's holding some things inside putting on the mask. You know, they put on the mask on the outer so nobody sees the inner, but you can. And you can tell who needs space. And you know what kind of space to give them. You can sit with people. Well, you're a good listener. They're drawn to you because you have a sense of knowing what boundaries they have. But again, here you can take more than what's yours. Because as they share, as they feel safe in your space, and you're hearing the nitty, the gritty, the ugly, you're absorbing it. And you do this out of the goodness of your heart because you want to be that space, that safe space for them. But there's no boundary line as to how much you absorb because you can't get it out of your mind and you can't get it out of your heart. And you're trying to figure out how how do I juggle this? How do I deal with this? The weight. So you're in the gap and you're getting weighed down even more. So the passion for serving others and being that safe space and that dream and that thing that's waiting on the other side in that season, you can't get to because you're carrying all of their trauma, their anxiety, their depression, their stories because you're that safe space, but you're sinking. Some of you bring order to the room. Some of you bring discipline, consistency, but you can't stay with what's stable. What do you notice first when you step into something? What it what the potential is? What could this become? Or what is really going on? How do people feel? How do how do we make this work? What do you notice first when you step into a room, a crowd, a grocery store, the church? When people come to you, what do they reach for? What do they ask for? What do they need? You will carry more than what is handed to you. That's where all of the weight comes from. That's unnecessary weight in your gap. There is a huge difference between showing up for somebody and stepping into something that was never yours and learning how to navigate those boundaries and still show up, still be that safe space, still provide that order and discipline, still provide that acceptance and love, still provide the plan and the mentoring. There's a fine line. You have to learn your boundaries, and that's part of building inside of the gap and getting ready for your next season. When you start to see clearly, that line will get easier and you'll recognize it and you'll build and that weight will go away. You don't have to shut your walls down completely. You just have to pick what is safe for you and know what doesn't belong to you. And if this makes sense, if this is landing for you, amen. we'll go deeper into this conversation because I know I touched on four specific areas, personality types. Think about the weight you're carrying inside of the gap. Start to dissect based on the information that I gave you today. And you'll start to see the light. I hope this blessed you. I hope this was encouraging. And I want you to stick here with me because we're going to continue this conversation in the next episode. Definitely want to go deeper here and how this connects to your next season and your calling. I see the picture, how you communicate, and what you need inside that gap. What is it you need inside the gap to grow and take that ladder and put it on the other side and start climbing out? Again, I hope this blessed you. I will see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye bye.